you have chosen to use the black on black crime argument, which is a very, very racist argument. I'll operate under the assumption that you did not realize that it was a racist argument. I'm not calling you a racist, but I'll do you a solid and let you know that this is a racist argument, and when you use this kind of argument, people are likely to assume that you are racist. Also, that now that you know that this is a racist argument, if you use it again in the future, or if you try to defend this obviously racist argument, that everyone can assume that you know you are deliberately acting racistly. I'll do you another solid and let you know why this argument is racist. First, if you had heard the statistics concerning black on black crime and accepted it at face value, it can only be because you assume that there is some inherent characteristic about black people that make them naturally disposed to killing each other. Otherwise, you should have been compelled to research and to verify these statistics. If you had done so, you would have also found that people in general are more likely to commit murder and violent crimes against people of the same race as themselves. Hispanics kill Hispanics at proportionally higher rates. Asian Americans kill Asian Americans at proportionally higher rates. Black people kill black people at proportionally higher rates. And yes, whites kill whites at proportionally higher rates. So already this argument is built on a faulty premise. But this argument is a bad argument is less significant, I think, than the truth that it is a racist argument. So let's continue. Because even if it is the fact that this is not true, that these statistics do not indicate, or do indicate what you were saying, then we should be compelled. You should ask the question, assuming that you believe that all people are deserving of basic human dignity and moral consideration, that we should be concerned about the kinds of factors which might contribute to this kind of trend. So any amount of research that you had done, any amount of digging, any amount of consideration at all would probably draw to your attention the correlation between crime and historical material conditions. You see, for hundreds of years, black people were not allowed to own property because they were property. And even after we abolished chattel slavery, there were still actual formal laws which prevented them from owning property, let alone starting their own businesses. There were even laws restricting what kind of works they could do. And these are all the kinds of limitations that white people didn't have to deal with. And after these laws were finally abolished, laws which directly prevented black people from having access to financial success, there were still practices and policies that accomplished roughly the same thing. There was red line districting, financial banking policies, which were very explicitly laid out, and people's overt racism towards non-whites. This means that black people have been segregated into dense cities where they cannot own land, they can't get loans to start their own businesses. And this also means that those communities have fewer economic opportunities for gainful employment. Because of this, they might turn to alternatives like selling drugs, because they still have to pay their rent, they still have to put food on their tables, they still have to clothe their children. Statistics indicate that black people and white people use drugs at about the same rate, and they are even busted by the police for having drugs or for selling drugs at roughly the same rate. However, non-whites receive longer jail and prison sentences, higher fines, higher bail fees, and these are also truths which are verifiable. There's a lot of controversy about this. We've been documenting this for hundreds of years, actually, going back. So That's not even to mention the Reagan-era policies, where with one hand the government and or pharmaceutical companies are funneling drugs into poor neighborhoods, and with the other hand they're using the war on drugs as a justification for murdering and jailing those people, their fathers and brothers, in their own communities. A process which makes it even harder for the surviving family members to make ends meet. All of these systemic historical factors, all of which are verifiably true, contribute to higher crime rates in poor communities. This is a much better explanation for why black communities experience higher rates of crime than the often used assertion that poverty and crime in those communities is somehow due to cultural differences or the idea that black people are inherently violent, because they're not. Both of these assertions are founded on racist ideology. Even if you choose to reject both of these arguments, that the statistics regarding black on black crime do not prove what you seem to imply that they do, and that the crime in black communities can largely, if not entirely, be attributed to historical material conditions, even if you reject both of those arguments. The black on black crime argument is still deeply racist. Because at the end of the day, you are arguing that some humans are deserving. You are arguing that some humans deserve to be gunned down. They deserve this because of the color of their skin. That's racist. That's categorically racist. I can't tell you what to believe. Or even I can't tell you what you can or cannot say. I can tell you this. If you go around saying racist things and using racist arguments, people are going to think you're a racist. Do with that what you will.